So technically speaking, this is a direct sequel to My Little Pony the movie. Weird. This reminds me though, that Landscape blocked my movie review. Do you know how long it took me to put together a 40 minutes review of that one movie? Whatever, let's talk about Equestria Girls. Here we are again with another 40 minutes Equestria Girls special. Can we go back to making these feature length, please? Because I think the biggest issue I have with the special is that it felt a bit cut short. This is mostly because the first half is a bit longer than it needs to be. I mean, actually I think it would have been reasonable if the special was twice as long as it is, and I don't think that the first 20 minutes are boring or anything like that, but we are already halfway through the special before the actual plot kicks in, which in return of course results in a rather rushed resolution. This is especially noticeable in regards to the one thing people were actually excited for: Sunset, Human Rainbow Dash and sci-twi going through a portal to Equestria. Well, at least I was rather hyped up for that. They basically just go there, talk a bit with Pony Twilight, get a small exposition dump regarding the Storm King, and go back to seal away some magic. It is still funny, especially sci-twi's reaction to being turned into a pony, which mirrors Princess Twilight's reaction to being turned into a human in the first movie, and I overall liked their small talk, but it just feels like there should have been more. Though while we are at it, it was kinda weird to see Unicorn Twilight again after all these years. But it does open up a bit of a weird question. Why does sci-twi have wings when she ponies up as a human, but not when she's an actual pony? Admittedly, I do think it makes sense for sci-twi to be a normal unicorn, considering she didn't quite earn her wings like Princess Twilight did. So it makes sense for her to be just a normal unicorn, but it still begs the question where her wings come from when she is using magic in the human world. Of course, the answer to that question is probably something rather simple and stupid. My guess is that the guy responsible for the toy designs simply don't differentiate between sci-twi and Princess Twilight and just design Twilight toys with wings, forcing the show to follow suit, while they could do with their actual pony form whatever they want. If you have an in-universe explanation why she has wings as a human but not as a pony, feel free to share your theories in the comment section. And while we are talking about missing wings, you might have noticed that Spike has none in the special either. Yeah, apparently the explanation for this one really is that no one of the people who actually work on the show bothered to tell the Equestria Girls team that Spike got wings midway through season 8. But that's not really an issue, as the special makes no reference to anything that happened throughout season 8. So it fits nicely in the timeline between the movie and the meltdown. I would even go so far to say that the special takes place after Twilight decided to open up her school of friendship, but before it was actually built, since we never see the school in the special even establishing shots of Twilight's castle. Not to mention that I'm pretty sure that Twilight would show Sunset around if it was there. It also fits better into the timeline this way, cause if this would take place after season 8, then the human 7 should have graduated from high school by now. There's this one line where Twilight says that she was saved by a student, but that one was most likely a reference to Starlight. Not that any of that actually matters, though I do think it makes more sense for the special to take place shortly after the movie and not months later. In any case, I do think that the Storm King's magic could have been explained a bit better. Twilight says that they drained his magic and sealed it away in the death of Sakanas. That's not really what we saw in the movie though. In the movie, the Storm King appeared to have no magic of his own, and stole the magic of the 4 princesses to create that storm. At the end, Twilight didn't seal away anything. She only returned the magic that was stolen. Unless it happened when she dispelled that storm. It is possible that the Storm King actually used his death to strengthen his inherent magic to create it. The thing is, as the Storm King got so little screen time in the movie, we can only guess. However, it would actually match pretty well with his original concept. You will find some early concept designs for the Storm King when you look into the MLP movie art book. Originally, he was supposed to be an elemental monster, basically the physical manifestation of a storm. Even in the prequel comics, he described himself as a storm. Maybe that still holds true to some degree. If we consider him a living storm, then it is possible to reason that a part of his own essence survived and made it through the portal after his physical body was destroyed. That would at least explain why it shouts the Storm King symbol to Rainbow Dash, because that was kinda random when you think about it. But if we assume that the storm was somewhat sentient because it was what is left of the Storm King, it kinda makes sense. Other than that, I have to say that Rainbow Dash was a bit obnoxious throughout the episode. I know that was sort of the point, and I get that she likes being a superhero, but her actively looking for a magical problem to fight seems rather forced. I think it would have worked much better if she simply was a bit more paranoid, so that she mistakes stuff for magic when there actually isn't any, instead of just ruining everyone's day because she wants something bad to happen, just so she can play hero. It's a bit hard to feel for her as a result. Heck, even Rainbow Dash in the mysterious Mare-de-Well at least wanted to prove something. Admittingly, this has always been a bit of a problem with Rainbow Dash in Equestria Girls. She lacks the depth of her pony counterpart and, more often than not, feels like a poor imitation of her surface characteristics. I think it is perhaps best demonstrated when she drops the 20% cooler line in the special.
Ow! Too hot! It needs to be like 20% cooler.
Yeah, that was forced. Rainbow Dash said it once back in season 1 and it became a meme, but Rainbow Dash never really says it again in the show, yet Equestria Girls treats it like a catchphrase. That being said, while I do think that everyone else had enough reason to be mad with Rainbow, I do think that their general apathy towards magic was also a bit strange. Considering their history, it felt kinda forced that they simply didn't believe that any magic was involved. Sure, I can see that they also want a break from that kind of stuff, but they kinda treated it like it was outside the realm of possibilities when they come across random magic all the time. Moreover, what really irritates me is how Sunset, sci-twi and Rainbow Dash simply relaxed while they were in Ponyville, reasoning that they have nothing to worry about.
Shouldn't we be getting back? It's just a little rain. I'm sure our friends are fine.
Okay, Rainbow Dash, let me get this straight. You folks at Storm was caused by magic. You go to an island to find the source of that magic, you come across a portal to Equestria guarded by a giant plant monster, confirming that there was in fact a source of equestrian magic, so you reason since there is equestrian magic on that island that you don't have to worry about it. Like, what the hell, I don't quite follow that leap in logic. Not to mention that they're friends and an entire ship is waiting for them. I mean, Sunset and Twilight decided to look for Rainbow Dash because they thought she might be in danger. So why should it be any different when Twilight and Sunset don't return? Your friends don't know that you are okay. They might think that you drowned or something, and the ship probably cannot wait there forever. Really, even if you girls think that your friends are not in any direct danger, it is incredibly irresponsible to let them wait like that. If you want to explore Equestria, sure, do that. You can go through the portal at Canterlot High anytime. Just give Princess Twilight a heads up and you have nothing to worry about. But at this very moment, you don't have any time to spare. I wouldn't be so harsh if they went to Princess Twilight because they need her help to get back. But nope, they are basically just killing time. There's also the fact that this special has no actual antagonist. Storm King leftovers notwithstanding. It was a bit disappointing because I always liked me a good villain, but that's kinda it. Pretty much every villain since Equestria Girls Legend of Error 3 was basically the same, only that they just got worse and worse. So I suppose having no villain is better than having a bad villain, but I would prefer the show to prove me wrong and actually introduce an interesting villain again. Or dunno, maybe do something with the sirens in one of these at some point. They still exist in this world and I'm pretty sure they would jump at the next best source of equestrian magic they come across. Now, while I had several complaints, I actually think that the overall plot was pretty good. I do think it could have been handled slightly better, but I think the overall conflict between Twilight, who just wants to be normal, and Rainbow Dash, who loves to be a superhero, was rather interesting and had some good moments. I like that they tied the plot of the special directly to the movie, and while I do think that they should have done more in Equestria, I enjoyed every second of them being there. This is mostly because, as I said before, the special is pretty funny. Oh, also shipping. Yeah, you didn't think that I would forget about this one, did ya? This special introduced Ragamuffin, a young lad Rarity develops a crush on. And he looks like a gender-bent version of Applejack. Something the special even highlights at one point. Not only that, he has a funny accent, a British one, but still. And he comes from what I suppose you could call a lower class worker family. Not apple farmer, but miner in his case. Yeah, what do you expect me to think of Rarity falling for a guy who is basically just male AJ? People already thought that AJ and Rarity were dating after the last Equestria Girls special, and this certainly doesn't help to dispel the illusion that they are attracted to each other. It seems to me that the Equestria Girls team really want to make Rarijack an actual thing. Can't wait for them to kiss in the last episode. I mean, that's how every cartoon does it nowadays, right? Overall, I thought the whole Ragamuffin thing was hilarious, but it does strike me as a little bit odd that he just kinda vanishes from the plot in the second half of the special. In the first half, quite a bit of time was devoted to him and Rarity, so it seems like a major subplot. And heck, they could have easily turned that subplot into a decent 20-minute episode if they wanted to. But in the end it doesn't go anyway, with Ragamuffin being delegated into the background after the ship loses energy. He only shows up at the very end to tell Rarity goodbye, which brings up another question. Why did he say goodbye to her at this point? He had nowhere to go. He has to go through the magic portal alongside everyone else to get back home, unless he wants to wait for the slim chance that another boat picks him up. This breakup scene feels completely artificial and out of place, as it doesn't make any sense in context. Well, in any case, if Ragamuffin wasn't your thing and the Rarijack ship tease was too subtle for you, we still have this.
I wouldn't trade you for anything in the world. In any world.
Same here.
Yeah, I don't think that I have to add anything to that, so I might as well wrap things up. Spring Breakdown is a very entertaining special, and it's probably my favorite Equestria Girls special so far. Sure, it has some problems here and there, but nothing I would consider an actual deal breaker. Really, in the end it boils down to the simple fact that I think that this special was too short. The writers apparently didn't have enough time to do everything they wanted to do. Admittedly, I still consider that sloppy writing, as they simply shouldn't have tried to force everything into the special when they don't have enough time for it, but we had much worse offenders in Friendship is Magic, like Shadowplay for example. That being said, some of the problems I have with the special might be alleviated in the future. Both Roller Coaster of Friendship and Forgotten Friendship were edited down for TV, while the DVD and YouTube release were uncut. The same will probably hold true for Spring Breakdown. We are probably only talking about 2 or 3 minor scenes, but still they could fix some of the problems I have with the special. In addition, there might be a couple of additional YouTube shorts coming up that tie into the events of Spring Breakdown. At least the trailer for this season of Equestria Girls shorts featured a couple of clips that took place on the ship but weren't part of the special. We will see about that. But what about you? Did you like the special? Anything that bothered you? Do you want to see Ragamuffin again? Let me know in the comments below. I am Tricky Fox. Stay foxy.
Sly as a fox, you got me under your spell. But you know I'll never tell that I know you know so well. Sometimes you can be too smart for your